Hello everybody, final video of Wednesday. It's been a busy old time and lots more content to come, a lot more coverage, but I thought I'd do an update on this particular situation. Alliance Wars. As a lot of you know, this is a bit of a divisive subject. Basically, it's not been great. It's not been great for the tactic. We've seen some horrendous, war numbers of, just see if I can show an example of it, 300 no, not 300, there we go, 232, there's an example there, 232 deaths. This is just not, it's not great with Alliance Wars at the moment. It's just not fun. And that's largely because of Magic Thief. Magic Thief has kind of thiefed some stuff away from the community, and it's not particularly nice. So what have Kabam got to say about stuff? Well, let's just get into it, shall we? We've been monitoring feedback regarding the way this season's tactics interact with specific map nodes. The game team has come together to discuss ways to alleviate difficulties and frustrations in Alliance Wars and have plans for adjustments to be implemented immediately. And I think an Alliance War has just gone live. I've just been pinged to say we're about to go into a war. So yeah, hopefully this is in play. The following pain points have been deemed to be the most impactful. Unblockable path 147B, one eye open 9B, node 2 and the mini boss, stun immune, shrug, reflection, path 5 masso conflictor, node 49. I think that affects me. I think, not 100% sure on that, but yeah, it's not been fun, has it? It's not been. I don't know, like Kabam, Kabam were like, oh, okay, we want to make this more difficult for players, so there's a different kind of take on it, and to explore is always a bonus. But I don't think that's a wise route to go down for the community. So they also say, with these pain points in mind, we decided to make the following changes with the intention of making the tactic feel fair and interactable in certain places. Mist no longer trigger an indestructible charge for tactic attackers. Okay, that's good. It's a lot of the time. I don't know if anybody else finds this. I know Kabam are specifically going, hey, this is a very Saga orientated month and using these certain champions. And as much as I'm like, okay, I like what Kabam offer, I like what they're pitching, the problem is I don't think it works well with content like this. Because a lot of the time, you'll go against the grain. I've had to go against the grain more time. When I say go against the grain, I mean not use specific type of attack tactics-based champions, because the situation would kind of call for coverage over various different types of champions. So going, hey, this champion, Kushala, is going to be an answer for all 6 champions I'm going to face off against on the path that I am. No. That's not the case, and that never will be the case. And that's the thing. You need to kind of like think about stuff. Like, I'm ending up having to go, okay, well, I've got to have an answer for X, Y, and Z champion that also doesn't have a buff because it'll interact with the champions. Also, yes, it will be difficult for the node. Yes, it will be rough, but if I change my playstyle and rotation slightly, I can cover not 1, not 2, but 3 or more champions being covered by 1 champion. That means that the other 2 champions on the path that on the route, whatever, it means I can have singular champions to then defeat them. Because a lot of the time, it's very difficult to double dip on different champions. It's not always possible to have 1 counter for 2 champions. It's normally, like, not normally, but it could be a case of going, right, well, I'm going to have to use, look, there's 2 or 3 mystics I've got to use Human Torch. And in other cases, it's like, okay, well, there's an Annihilus there. I'm going to have to find a champion that's going to have to deal with that. Is it easier for me to bring a Doctor Doom, a Human Torch to deal with the Mystic champion, which would probably be Ebony Maw, then leaving the other champions like Nick Fury to cover like 2 others, And a lot of the time it works. Or it's a different situation. I'm like, okay, well, I've got to bring a Mega Sentinel for this fight. You know, that's the problem. And a lot of the times they're not the champions that are meant to be taken in the path. But the sad thing is, it's like, I need to make sure that I get there and get a win and not lose champions. That's the conundrum. Anyway, I digress. Sorry, but I think people understand that point. Indestructible timers are now tuned per map. 15 seconds challenge, 10 seconds expert, 5 seconds elite. More champions are receiving the X Magica tag to alleviate the need for overly specific counters. This is the thing, isn't it? These champions will now be included as part of the pool for Saga boosts and items. Man-Thing for bleed immunity, armor break immunity and poison debuffs, Sunspot for incinerate debuffs, White Tiger for reducing unblockable ability accuracy, Dust for her immunities and gaining steadfast effect. Tactic attacks using light attacks into opponent's block will now receive prowess and remove an indestructible. That's good. I'm not a huge fan of doing that. That's not. I got to be honest. That's one of my kind of like hatred things about stuff. Hulkling, I don't like as a champion, and this week we had to do like hit into the block, and I'm like, oh no, this is things I do not like. Why am I doing this? But you get through it. I think at least this is a easier rotation to do. It's not going to be, say, the best option, but it's an option nevertheless, and can be, you know, I'm sure you'll be able to play around with it, but also know how to kind of like take this on. Each prowess now reduces purify ability accuracy by 34%. The tactic prowess icons will be changed so they don't stack with character natural prowess. So they'll probably just create a different color scheme with it. But yeah. We will continue to work towards making Alliance War a fun and challenging mode for players of all different levels. It's clear that the current version of the tactic did not achieve the goal. We intend for these tuning changes to be in by Wednesday in time for the next war, but the in-game description may take a couple more days to be implemented. So that's always a concern, isn't it? Like, we've just started a war. Like, I've just got a ping for it now. No, it's actually, this is today, isn't it? Yeah, this is as of fresh, so this was several hours ago, but of course I wanted to cover some of the side quest stuff first before we kind of jump into coverage of Alliance Wars and situation around it. So whether or not this has gone live in game, I'll have to see. Normally we can just go to the forums and just see is there any kind of like angry posts on the matter, apart from the main mega thread that people were kind of like talking about and some other stuff. It's not really been there with yeah, it's not really been there on stuff. I was good to see someone using Ghost Rider against Hulkling, but yeah, I think a lot of options for Winter of Woe. I did put out a video probably about 45 minutes ago, so go and check that out. And yeah, that's been it for the video. What are your thoughts on the matter? Have your say in the comments. Check out some other stuff on screen right now. Have a lovely day, and I'm going to get to bed in a minute, but I've got one more video to make. Okay, bye.